Is the Great Resignation period coming to an end? Well, stick around because in this video, I'm going to share with you some insights into what exactly is happening on the job market right now. Hey everybody, it's Brian from A Life After Layoff, and today I want to share with you some things that I'm seeing on the labor market specifically related to the Great Resignation. Now, if you've been following my videos, you've probably seen the Great Resignation Wave that's been gripping the nation, and I did a video about it. So what is the Great Resignation Wave, and is it true that people are really quitting their jobs? Based on some of the comments that I've seen in the other video, people don't believe that it's actually happening, but it is happening, and there are some statistics to back it up. According to the Labor Department, right now, as I record this is going into the end of September. The Labor Department has reported that nearly 4 million people have quit their jobs in July of 2021, and that almost 16 million people have left their jobs since April. So pretty significant labor market numbers coming out about the number of people who have actually participated in this Great Resignation Wave. And what's surprising about this isn't necessarily that there's turnover, because every healthy job market has a certain percentage of turnover, but the Labor Department is tracking this number as the highest that they've ever seen it in the last 22 years. And that's effectively since they started tracking the metric. So there is a bona fide increase in the amount of people who are quitting their jobs. And there's a whole variety of reasons why people are quitting their jobs. And again, check out that other video if you want more details into that. But I'm sure everybody who is going out into the public world is seeing this increase in people quitting their jobs, positions that can't be filled, and all of this kind of stuff. And in a real world setting, I'm seeing it basically everywhere. I mean, I was even at a winery today and I saw a help wanted sign in the bathroom. When you're using the restroom, you're looking at a help wanted sign where they actually, you could scan the QR code to get an application to go work there. I also was at a restaurant recently where the whole place was basically empty, except for there was 2 or 3 tables. But the hostess said that there was a 45-minute wait, and we kind of laughed and we said, well, there's an entire empty restaurant with there's probably 30 empty tables. And she said, we actually only have 2 staff members or 2 servers right now, so we have to limit the amount of tables. And this was on a Thursday night, and it was, pretty busy. It should have been a pretty busy night for them, but they physically couldn't hire any wait staff, so we had to wait while there's all these empty tables. I also know some factories in my local area that can't staff fully almost entire shifts. So they're actually shutting down certain parts of their factory because they physically can't produce parts because they can't get people to show up. And as a recruiter, I am still seeing a very stiff labor market where there's not a lot of candidates and there are more positions than there are people. And in fact, I think right now there's a record 10.9 million job openings in the United States. And I can't speak globally, but I would assume that's probably pretty similar. And there's really never been that many positions open. So what is happening now is companies are forced into being creative with their recruiting. In some cases, they're actually having to pay or overpay for talent. And I know in a lot of cases, we're considering people for roles that we would have never normally considered, just because there's almost a level of desperation. And again, this is especially at the hourly levels, like material handlers, forklift drivers, people who run machines, waitresses, truck driving, and I'm sure in the medical industry, you're seeing a lot of open positions as well. Now it's not uncommon to see huge sign-on bonuses, a couple thousand, $2,000 to $3,000. Employee referral bonuses are going up. So you've got companies trying to incentivize their friends and families to apply for positions. You've also got wage inflation, which is happening. I mean, my local McDonald's is paying $17 an hour. Plus there's all the sign-on bonuses and all of the other perks that you probably wouldn't have seen in a normal market. On the salaried side, I am seeing a shortage of good qualified candidates that I can get through an entire process. And so we are in some cases having to make stretch decisions on candidates that we probably wouldn't normally have considered, or we've been more willing to be open-minded. However, in some cases, I've seen businesses just not fill positions because they don't want to put the wrong person in, overpay them. Then they have internal equity issues, and then they have wage inflation. Because it's going to become a big thing if wages continue to increase, you're going to have products and services now increasing in price. So it's kind of we're in a vicious inflation cycle right now. Now, I will say this, there is a storm cloud on the horizon, and I don't know if it's the indicator of a bigger storm coming, but there's certainly some lightning out there. Figuratively speaking, that the U.S. Labor Department reported that just before Labor Day, that nation's payroll only grew by 243,000 jobs. And if you take what happened from a monthly perspective since May, is we were looking at an average of 800,000. So a huge decrease in the amount of positions that were added to company payroll. Now, is that an indicator that the labor market is softening? Who knows? But I will say from my perspective, I've seen probably a slight weakening in rec loads in the amount of positions that companies that I know of that are recruiting. But I would still say that it's still pretty strong. If you are somebody that's ready to make a change, there's probably still some time for you to catch this buyer's market wave that we're currently in. But it's important to be aware that the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And keep in mind that the companies who are hiring right now, especially the ones who are desperately hiring because they can't find staff. And if they can't find staff, that means that you're going to be walking into a situation where you probably already have an overworked workforce. And the chances of you having to do the same kind of hours until they can get right-sized, which who knows when that's going to be. It might not be as ideal as you think it is. So make sure you ask the tough questions in the interviewing process. Make sure that you're being very selective in the types of roles that you're moving into, and make sure that's part of your long-term career goal. But if you're somebody that's looking to take advantage of the Great Resignation Wave and improve your circumstances, that's actually something that I specialize in. I do have a website called lifeafterlayoff.com. It's loaded with tips and tricks, all from an insider's perspective. I also offer some private one-on-one coaching if you're somebody that feels like you need individualized help. So it's all on my website, so you can feel free to check out the services tab, and there'll be more information about how to contact me. I also got some training courses that you can check out. The first one is Resume Rocketfuel. It's designed to teach you how to write a resume that is going to give you the best chance of getting noticed by that recruiter, ultimately to land your first interview. And after you get that first interview, it's up to you to sell yourself throughout the rest of the process. And that's where the Ultimate Job Seeker Bootcamp comes into play. And that's going to take you through each step of that interviewing process and ultimately help land you the dream job with the dream offer and get you that upgrade during the Great Resignation Wave. So take advantage of that while you can. This is probably a great opportunity for you to upgrade your situation, and good luck with it. We'll see you on the next one.